really.
Yuri, can I ask you a question?
What?
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, yeah.
How did you find your passion to, to be in the movement and to continue to be in the struggle?
Well, the more I learned about American history, the real American history, when we went to school, we never learned anything about slavery. And after, after all, when I was young like you, I didn't know anything. But when I started reading books by Du Bois and James Baldwin,
I love Baldwin.
And found out what they did to black people, going to Africa, capturing them, dividing them, they'll take maybe one or two members of a family, and all of them, and where once they were captured, they were treated like animals. And racism is so prevalent, and that almost, I think, U.S. was able to get the whole world looking down on Africans. And the more I learned about what U.S. did, and that practically all the indigenous people in this country, they call them American Indians or whatever, they killed almost all the different tribes. There were 1 million people here. They're all gone. And I remember recently when, the U.S. government has been against Ward Churchill, the American Indian, who is, I think, right now the best American Indian leader. But he is very, very anti anything American because of what America did to his people. And, they finally, he was teaching for I don't know how many years at University of Colorado. They fired him. It's because he has said a lot of things that sound very anti-American, but being an Indian where his people were practically all massacred, of course he can't think of anything good about this country that did that. So, no.
Well,
but when you keep hearing about it, terrible things, but most, I think, what America did to black people was the worst. I was shocked when I heard how they treated black people. So inhuman. And I'll bet you they don't even teach that in Hawaii school, do they?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
We don't know though for sure.
When I went to school, I didn't learn anything. And when I started hearing about slavery, oh my God. And then when we, after camp life, we moved to New York and lived in Harlem. And also I met so many Asians who were racist against blacks that it was so, much, I can't think of a word stronger though, more than disappointed, but almost ashamed that Asians were going the same way as Howleys,
Yeah.
It's just...
I struggle with that. I see Asians and Pacific Islanders rather identifying with the white Haole culture. Like Fanon talks about the whole symptoms of oppression, Why is it that oppressed people would rather become like their oppressors rather than fight against their oppressors, and particularly Asian cultures, yeah? Maybe is it because we're less...
What is your background?
I was born in Korea, but adopted into a second-generation Chinese-American family.
Oh,
so
you were born in Korea, though, and adopted by then a Hawaiian?
No, Chinese family. Chinese American,
Oh.
in Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago.
Yeah, my adopted parents are second generation Chinese. So it played out differently, but I'm very proud of it now. But before, and I grew up in a very white environment. I just did a testimony for Pam. Maybe I'll have, I'll give you a copy of it. I have it with me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'll give you a copy of it.
Oh, good.
But that explains, like,
testimony. What is it's on tape or what?
It's on paper.
I have on paper.
Oh, paper. Good.
Nozomi told me you read voraciously, so.
Unless you could read it.
Oh, I don't want to. They've heard them before, and I don't want to. I want to hear you. I've heard myself. I would love for you to have a copy of it, though.
Oh, thank you.
But I don't understand either, particularly in the Midwest. I think in West Coast and Hawaii it's different because they see more Asians and they're more secluded. They like to seclude themselves, but it really hurts me, and I'm ashamed too. I get very. Sometimes I envy my black sisters and my Puerto Rican sisters because of their ability to just be so strong in their convictions. I mean, I'm strong in my convictions, but my people don't necessarily support that. But then a lot of people still look at me like I'm crazy. I think for my friends that are Puerto Rican and black, their pain is so close to the surface and so less repressed that it's so much easier for them to get in touch with their anger and to really, really outwardly make large shake-up systems, have support. So I find it that I have most solidarity with my black and Latino, brothers and sisters.
Oh, good.
But that's why it's so important for me to be a part of PAM, is to give that to the Asian Pacific youth. And I understand where January's question is, because we've been struggling how to figure out how to empower our youth to see, And especially when a lot of them are very concentrated on raising their prayers to God instead of realizing that God works through the people, that people do the work too. So how do you get that disconnect? How do you fill in the gaps? Especially when you look at our generations and see that a lot of their parents are doing the talking for them, so they're not even teaching their kids how to walk and think on their own, walk on their own. Steve Ito was telling us that he was watching a Dateline special or something where they were saying that there's so many parents now that call the university saying, "Why is my kid failing? You better move that grade or I'm not going to pay for his tuition."
Wait a minute, what? Say the last part.
Or I'm not going to pay for his tuition. Like, if you don't change the grade, I'm not going to pay for his tuition or her tuition. A lot of the parents are trying to negotiate their children's lives, and even when they get careers, they say that in kids getting jobs for the first time, their parents are trying to negotiate their salaries. So they're not even teaching kids to think independently anymore, So how do you get them to see that this is a part of our calling, our people, to get ourselves out of oppression in this day, in this earth, It's very difficult because you throw them in the pit. I think that they get so scared they just don't want to deal with it. They don't want to look at it hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
When you're an Asian American youth looking at that, So that's one disconnect and struggle I think that we have to look at as leaders in our communities.
Yeah.
I did have a question that kind of ties into
yeah.
this. I've been wondering, if you were to say any words of wisdom to this generation of young people as far as how to take this revolution in a new direction. Because you saw when the Black Panthers were like at their strength,
Yeah.
And I'm sure you were probably convinced that there really was going to be a revolution. And then slowly but surely that just, no more. What could we do? What were the mistakes that were made then? What could we do now? Do we do it through institutions, direct action? How?
That actually this country's policies are so wicked, really. I mean, racism and looking down on people of color and all. And now since 9/11, you have to be careful. I mean, do you know that teachers that are very progressive have lost their jobs?